If you clicked on this video, you are probably trying to decide your college major, which can be a daunting experience when you feel like your entire future rests on the classes you decide on in college. Well, I want to share with you my experience, why I chose economics, and hopefully that helps you through this experience. And I invite you to look in the comments below because I'm inviting everyone to share their experience, why they decided to major in economics or what got them interested in or excited in economics. And hopefully with these stories, you can come and to a better, clear understanding of what you want to study. Hi, I'm Craig and welcome to Market Power, where we look at the power of markets and economics to shape our world. And your major is being shaped by the power of markets and economics, I can tell. I'm in a different location today because I'm sharing a little bit more of a personal story today, and it just didn't feel like filming in that spare bedroom in my house was the right location to share this. I wanted to come out here, feel a little bit more connected. It's a beautiful area. I mean, just look how gorgeous this is. I'm in a canyon, and this is actually symbolic of my own journey on why I chose to major in economics. So I describe or summarize my journey in kind of like a peak, valley, peak. And so I kind of like the symbolism here. I'm gonna get some drone shots because that drone is important for next week's video, so definitely subscribe so you can see that. And also, if you're not deciding your major right now, you already have your major, please let me know in the comments why you chose economics, because there are people watching this video trying to understand why they should major in economics. But this peak, valley, peak gives some structure to this video. So I'm gonna start off telling you about what got me first interested in economics. There's the peak over there. And then I'm gonna tell you how I got discouraged from majoring in economics. And then the final peak is gonna be what led me to my decision to actually major in economics. And I'll give you a spoiler right now. It was WALL-E. And so you're gonna want to watch and figure out how I made that connection. It's kind of bizarre. I'm also gonna talk about the role of emotion and logic in deciding your major. So let's go ahead and get to the first peak, why I first got interested in economics. I trace my beginnings of this journey to my senior year in high school when I took AP Economics. Now, some would psychologically dig into my childhood where my dad had been interested in economics a little bit and in fact had a career in finance. And even as a baby, he had me in front of the Wall Street Journal. But when I got into that AP Economics class, that's when I started connecting things for me. I had a summer reading assignment where we had to read Freakonomics, and we also had to read The World is Flat, and both of those books resonated with me. I read them and I just felt interested in economics. I loved the things that they were saying. So much of it just connected for me. It made sense. And I've talked to a lot of people when they are interested in economics, and a lot of times what they'll say is, it just makes sense. And so I loved it. I wanted to keep pursuing it. One of the things that really got me excited was seeing economics just everywhere. One of my first memories of reading about economic research, it was EverQuest. EverQuest was this big, massive multiplayer RPG game. An economist had gone through and figured out an exchange rate between this video game world and the regular, physical world, and showed how economics was governing what was going on in this place. It calculated wage rates for players in EverQuest. And I just thought this was so interesting that we could take these economic principles and just so easily apply them to a video game world. And so video game economics has always had this kind of interesting spot for me. At the end of that year, I was just so excited about economics, and I had decided I was going to major in it. Hopefully I'm not just hitting you over the head with this, but here we are in the valley because now we're gonna hit the valley of my journey of economics, because I hit a point where I decided I was not going to major in economics anymore. And that was right at the end of my senior year of high school when I got rejected from a whole bunch of schools. I had applied to a lot of very selective schools and got rejected from all of them. I talked about how that affected me in my video about how I got accepted to Yale, but I didn't mention in that video that one of the effects was causing me to question whether I should major in economics. In fact, I'll be very open with you right now. One of the schools I applied to was MIT, and MIT had asked what I was interested in majoring in, and I wrote economics. And when I got rejected from MIT, one of the things I blamed myself for was putting that I wanted to major in economics. I thought, oh, like, why would MIT accept somebody who wants to study economics? People don't go to MIT to study economics. Now, the irony there is that MIT is possibly the best school to go study economics, but I didn't know that as a senior in high school. I just thought one of the reasons why I was rejected was because I wasn't choosing something serious like engineering, computer science, something where I was gonna have a very technical background when I got out. And I thought economics was coming off as kind of just this soft major. So those rejections put in the seed that I shouldn't major in economics, and I started looking at something I wanted out of my college major, and I decided what I wanted was some sort of degree that would give me marketable skills when I got out of school. And I landed on computer science, and I decided that, hey, if I graduate, I'll at least have the computer programming skills. I'll have just a great opportunity when I get out of school. The choice to major in computer science didn't come completely out of left field. I was kind of interested in it. I'd been coding since I was 12, and I knew that there were going to be jobs on the other end, but it was a very logical decision. Whereas my decision to major in economics was more emotional. It was, I really like economics and I want to keep pursuing it. And computer science, I didn't have this natural inclination towards it. It was that I had this logical, there will be a job at the end of this. I'm going to get to this emotional, logical connection later on in the video, but I think it's important to point out right now. But starting on this computer science journey, that first year, I was laser focused on it. I was already taking the physics classes I needed, the math classes I needed, the computer science classes, of course, I needed. And I just was not enjoying it. In fact, a lot of the time, I just really did not like what I was doing. One time in particular comes to mind. I had a project due one week. My brother was coming out to visit me, and I was just stuck on trying to figure out how to solve this computer program. And I was just beating my head trying to figure out the solution to it. And I believe on this one, it was just a really small thing that I needed to change. It was really frustrating working on that problem, and I didn't receive a payoff. I didn't feel excited when I finally solved the problem. That's not an enjoyable career to be on, or enjoyable path. It's fun when you're working on hard problems, as long as when you solve that hard problem, you also get some sort of payoff for it. That you say yes, I finally solved it. That's not how I was feeling when I was taking those computer science classes. So this brings us to WALL-E. And the way WALL-E got me to major in economics, you'll see the connection, but it's also just so not the way that you usually think about how you're gonna decide your major. So what happens? I am sitting down to watch WALL-E for the first time. I am in Orlando, Florida. I'm taking a break from school. I'm actually volunteering for my church as a missionary in Orlando, Florida. And we're sitting down just for a little relaxation to watch WALL-E. I'm not really thinking about what I'm gonna major in because I haven't been to school in over a year. But as I'm watching WALL-E, and I see people just sitting in the same spot, looking at screens all day, a thought hits me that is what my life is gonna be like if I decide to major in computer science. I'm going to pick a life where I'm just sitting in a chair all the time looking at the screen. And I knew that that's not what I wanted. I knew that I needed something more. I wanted something where I would be able to interact with more people. I love teaching, right? Here I am on YouTube because I love teaching. I wanted some way where I could teach. And I didn't know that I wanted to be a professor at the time, but I just felt like economics was gonna open up opportunities for me to teach. That triggered this process in my mind where I decided to major in economics. That's my mountain, where WALL-E made me realize the path that I felt I was going on if I majored in computer science, and helped me see that the path that I wanted was economics. By the way, this whole WALL-E influencing me to do economics, that's also why I've done a few videos on the economics of Pixar. I just really love Pixar, and I saw these economics connections, and it just really brought everything full circle for me. So I'm gonna put a link to that playlist at the end of this video so you can see some of the economics of Pixar. They just get me excited, so you should check those out for sure. Which brings me to the emotional, logical distinction that I was making earlier. A lot of times we're trying to take a very logical path towards what we're gonna major in. We're trying to figure out, what are the costs and benefits? What are my career options? And that's important. It's really important to have the logic behind that. What can you actually do with this degree? But sometimes you need to also pay attention to the emotional part. You need to pay attention to your feelings. Really, at that time, I felt like I should major in economics. I felt like I was connecting with those feelings I had when I first started studying economics, realizing what I wanted in my life. And so if you have an emotional connection to economics, if you just like it, if you enjoy it, if you feel like you should keep studying it, go ahead and keep doing it. follow that emotional connection. And if you want the logical explanation, go check out some of these videos. I have a whole playlist on logically why it's fine to major in economics. I'm interested in knowing your story, so please let me know in the comments below why you decided to major in economics or what got you interested in economics. We'll see you on the next Market Power.
Bye, Wally.